Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Posttopostpod podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris Ronan. How are you?
I'm good.
You good? You good?
Always good.
We're both happy. We're good.
I'm
Florida
buzzing.
Panthers they literally just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Moving on to the next series, and we got some sad Toronto Maple Leafs fans out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think they have anything to be too sad about. They got out of the first round. That's like winning the Stanley Cup in Toronto, in my opinion. They finally got that done. It was kind of tough to see them only get one win out of that series. And also the fact that their all-stars, the top four guys they're paying on the team are just like disappeared. But we can get into that series later on if you want to. It's up to you. We can dive right in.
Sure. Unless you want to do... Well, we only got like a couple series to talk about, so did you want to do some hockey news first, and then we'll get right into it?
You got it.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. So, the past few weeks...
What's your language, by the way?
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I wanted to bring up first off. I posted an apology video on my Instagram, and last week, if you're not on my Instagram and you listened to our episode last week, there were a lot of F-bombs dropped. And you could thank a lot of Corona premieres.
Was I bad too,
some
or
shots? No, you were fine.
Okay, cool.
But it was like the middle of me recording. I texted Billy, I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't know it was this bad." And
I noticed it early a little bit. I was like, "Oh boy, he's getting after
I
it."
was like, "Okay."
Picking a side and sticking to it.
I don't know. Like I had I was feeling good, and then I was like really wanting to get into like the conversations at hand, and a little too F-bomby. So.
I like that shirt, by the way. New shirt?
Thank you. Yeah, new to me.
Nice. There you go.
My cousin was cleaning out his old stuff, and I
Nice.
just took a bunch of shirts. So.
I feel like you're always in like a hoodie or a sweatshirt, so it's a kind of a change up to see a nice new shirt.
I mean, yeah, it's finally summertime, but we were just saying where we're at right now. It's just getting kind of chilly down here.
Oh, yeah, definitely getting cold down here, but we're in a dark and gloomy basement, so. Not that any of you listeners knew that, huh? How about that?
Breaking the fourth wall right now.
Some Hollywood magic for you.
Hey. But yeah, I do want to apologize for that last week. I swear to God, I had no idea until I was editing. And then like that Sunday night editing again, I was like, oh no. Oh man, just a slap in the face. Like, all right, I need to get it together for the next episode. So here I am, just way more in control, way less drunk than I was last week. But let's get right into the hockey news first before we get into the Stanley Cup playoffs here. So the past couple weeks we've been doing the awards and the finalists for the awards. And so throughout the week we got 3 awards in the finalist form. So we're going to get into that. So the Jack Adams Award finalists were named Jim Montgomery, Lindy Ruff, and Dave Haxtell. And then we have the Ted Lindsay Award finalists, who's Eric Carlson, Connor McDavid, and David Pasternak. And then the Vezina Award finalists were Connor Hellebuck, Ilya Sorokin, and Linus Ullmark. So I feel like all 3 of these are going the Boston Bruins route, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, yeah, you really think so?
I think so. Actually, you know what? Eric Carlson for the Ted Lindsay Award.
Now, I'm going to be a dumb question for the fans that don't know. What is the Ted Lindsay Award? Is it MVP?
I think it's the MVP for best defenseman, right?
No, not.
I'm thinking Norris. That's
Norris
what I'm doing.
Is
What the fuck is Ted Lindsay?
Most outstanding player in the regular season.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, here we go.
So I think that one's a runaway for McDavid, don't you think?
Ooh. Yeah.
Carlson definitely was, but
Carlson
it's hard
was.
to win that as a defenseman, I think.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Vezina, I do think Ullmark's going to win it. I think Hellebuck and Sorokin are both definitely very good cases for their teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the coaching job, I think Montgomery is going to get it, but I feel like Haxtell did so much more, with his team this year compared to where they were standing last year.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there were issues with Bruce Cassidy and the Bruins, but they still got to, I believe, was it the second round or the first round last year? They got bounced by the Hurricanes, so it should have been the second round, right? Because you got to get out of your division.
Yep.
So, I think just Dave Haxtell, like, the fact that they were as bad as they were last season and made it into the playoffs, and, like, Seattle's no joke right now. They're down 3-2 in the series to Dallas, like, as of this recording, right?
Yeah.
But, like, the only thing I keep hearing is the fact that they're so deep, like, that it's basically like nonstop when you play them. It's not like there's a line where you get a shift off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
right.
always like you're not matching up properly against these
Mhm.
guys ever.
Right. No, I'm down with you.
But
Yeah.
if you had to pick your three, who are you going with for your award winners?
So the Jack Adams, you're right about Dave Hextall. I like your take on it, but the problem is I think the points are going to go toward Jim Montgomery here for what he's done with the Bruins, especially the record-breaking season that he's had with the Bruins. So I feel like it's going to him. The Ted Lindsay Award, he definitely changed my mind. I thought in my head David Pastrnak, but I think that's going to be going Connor McDavid. And for the Vezina, I think Linus Ullmark is definitely going to take that spot.
Just the sheer number of points that McDavid put up too. I think it was 153 in the regular season. I could be wrong though.
It's up there.
But he was over 150 points in the regular season. That's like
fucking wild.
insane, unheard of, you know? That's nuts.
Like Wayne Gretzky-esque type
right.
shit.
He is the new Gretzky, I think.
He is. Him and Leon Draisaitl, too. Holy shit.
Draisaitl is the unsung hero of that Edmonton Oilers team right now, I think.
He is. Just because Connor McDavid's kind of overshadowing him right now. But Leon Draisaitl just under the waves, just like really, really causing havoc with the Edmonton Oilers there, too. I think I saw something, too, where I didn't write it down in the notes, but in minimum of 40 games played in the playoffs, I think. It was like points per game. Leon Draisaitl is like right the fuck behind Wayne Gretzky in that category.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely effective. I think we mentioned it before about double teaming Ovechkin to shut that guy down, and it opens up more passing opportunities. And I think McDavid has kind of figured that out a little bit with Draisaitl, and that's what kind of works. Mm-hmm. And then you get on top of that, they separate them on the lines. Imagine going up against Draisaitl on the second line.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And the power play for that team must be fucking sick, too.
Through the fucking roof.
Nugent Hopkins, fucking McDavid, Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse.
They have the power.
Yeah.
They really do. Bouchard. They just have those guys. A power play, the first power play line is unbelievable. Just like, how the fuck do you stop that shit? The Bouch bomb himself. Imagine being a guy that's gonna stop that clapper.
Yeah, they were, I believe, clicking at like 56% through the first round of the playoffs on their power play.
Oof,
nuts.
Dear God. That's my take on it. I don't know. We usually do picks on this, but we never really did do. Not like.
Not like tracking them.
Not like tracking
I don't know.
them or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are just. It is what it is for us. But maybe just picks, just to have, I guess. But let's move on past this. So the Philadelphia Flyers are making some moves here, and they definitely need to. Literally in the past week, I think it was literally in one day, maybe 2 days altogether, they hired Daniel Briere as their GM and Keith Jones as president of hockey operations. Really moving on. Daniel Briere has been with the organization for how long? For years now. So this GM move for Daniel Briere just makes sense.
He was their interim GM last season. So basically, they just took the interim away and said, "Here's the job now. You're doing a good enough job." So.
Yep. And Keith Jones, I think that steps him away from. Was he on now? TNT?
I forget if it was TNT, but he was definitely doing some form of broadcasting, maybe NHL Network.
Oh, maybe
I'm not 100% on that one.
I can't remember. But yeah, so good for the both of them. Good moves there for the Flyers. Again, Danny Briere's a good hire for a GM for the Philadelphia Flyers too, especially in their situation. I don't think they're in a situation now where they can like attempt a different GM. It's more so a guy like Danny Briere who's been with the organization, knows what's going on, and they're just like, hey, take the reins and let's figure this out, because I feel like they bring in a new guy now, it's just gonna be fucking chaos, and they might knock him down a few more steps.
Yeah, I think the coaching job aspect of it, right? You can have a short leash with that, but with a GM, I feel like you got to give him like, where you give a coach like 3 to 5 years, you give a GM like 5 to 10 to see what direction they end up taking the team in, unless there's like egregious errors,
Yeah, right.
But also, this brings in the question for me, when you get a new GM in air quotes, right? Like Briere was obviously there last season, but usually you let him bring in his own coach, and it seems like the team is pretty much all set with John Tortorella.
Yep.
So Briere is going to bring in a new coach, and I just am curious to see who his guy is and who he thinks is going to be a right fit for the organization. going to be interesting.
Yeah. Again, another team that's part of a rebuild right now too. So it's all in the hands of Briere and just the guys next to him. So it'll be an interesting few years. And I like what you said about the GMs, where it's not a 1 to 5 situation; it's a 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not. The Flyers aren't gonna change overnight. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a few seasons, a few draft picks, few moves. Till they get their feet in the right spot. But let's move on to another coach change here. The New York Rangers have fired head coach Gerard Gallant. Not surprising, I guess you want to say.
This poor bastard, dude, like just getting hosed by every team that he goes to. Like,
Yep.
I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves as like a head coach. Like, I just feel like he was in the running for the Jack Adams, I think, with the Florida Panthers one year, and like just got canned basically either that year or the next year. And it's like the guy just kind of gets fucked left and right because of like what he gets out of his guys at the end of the day. Like the Rangers didn't really show up in the playoffs. Like the players that you needed to. A big talking point of the Rangers team is the lack of growth and development with the young talent that they have there, and guys like Lafreniere. Like that's the big callback for that team. But I think Gerard Gallant should get another job and another chance. But at this point, it's like, man, he's starting to look like a suitcase the way that players do,
Yeah. And I honestly can't tell if it's like behind the scenes stuff with Gerard Gallant here, where for a perspective for the fans, we're just like, damn, dude, you took the New York Rangers to especially after last season, took the Rangers to the Stanley Cup playoffs this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you got bounced, but I mean, baby steps there, and you're doing a good job. So I don't know if it's just like behind the scenes personal stuff between him and the players and maybe the front office that they're just like, see, I know you did well here, but I think it's time to move on. Like it's that stuff.
It's interesting.
It makes me think about that stuff too. Just like, oh God, there's got to be something involved that we don't know of. That's the reason for this, because there's no way that he can't get one more season with the New York Rangers here.
I feel like that's also one of those teams that doesn't fit into a category with other guys. Like the New York Rangers are so fringe, like 6 to 8 seed, getting into the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then having guys that are older and aging in Patrick Kane on the back end of his career, guys that aren't like necessarily in their prime, but like Zibanejad, Panarin,
Adam Fox.
like Adam Fox, I would say, is on the young side. So that was the next point, was the young studs that are coming up. Adam Fox, Keandre Miller, Alex Lafreniere.
Yeah.
But like Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, they're not like old, but they're not young. And like they're such a well-rounded team in the terms of like age.
Yeah.
And like if you look at their like names on paper, like their team looks pretty sick, but like they just can't do it. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what's going to be the thing to get them over the hump. They have the grit in a guy like Trouba, a guy that you're scared to come over the blue line with the puck. Like
a Vezina winning goalie.
Yeah, they have a great goaltender. Like, I don't know what their weak spot is, but there's just something holding them back.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I just
right there, they seem super well rounded.
I'm just at a loss for it. You are right. It's just like it's that one little piece that we just don't.
And if you think about that, right, like. Maybe it's the coach. Like maybe it is like
maybe it is the coach.
A new person to, drive the bus and show the team which direction they need to go in,
Mm-hmm.
Like I highlight like a Marty St. Louis up in Montreal, like how night and day his coaching strategy was compared to Claude Julien's before him, and like what that did for that team the following year,
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see who they go with. Like I felt like last season with all the coaching changes, I was like, I could kind of tell like who was going to slot in where. And I think this season is the season where they're going to purge out some guys from the league. Like Gerard Gallant's a guy that I'm like, I think he deserves another job, but is he going to get one? Right.
Right.
John Tortorella, probably done.
Done.
Right. Yeah. There's another name. I want to say Alain Vigneault, but it's not him. There's another name of like one of the other guys that they're kind of fading out a little bit. So I just don't really see any like clear as day guys that I'm like, all right, that guy's going to get a job and he's probably going to go here,
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of these teams might be starting to look internally and growing and developing their own coaches in their farm systems, which I think is great, much better.
Yeah.
I'd also like to start to see teams lean more into like Danny Briere and Marty St. Louis as the first two examples of like guys that are out of the league by about 5-10 years that are interested in like you can tell that they'd be good for those kind of roles because I think you'll start to see more. I'll say in quotes players coaches, but not in the sense of like I'm a players guy, like a literal player that has now become a coach. You know,
right? There's guys that have tried to do it that just didn't work out, but that doesn't mean it doesn't not work out. You know, you got those guys that
look at Rod Brindamore. He's working very well for the Canes. I think
1,000%. Look at I'm gonna say Bill Guerin, but Bill Guerin wasn't really with. He was with the Pittsburgh Penguins for a while, but he's still a player.
He's a GM,
guy.
Isn't he? Right?
Yep, for the Minnesota
Wild.
Yep.
So,
but it just goes to show you too, like these players, if they have the capabilities, they can figure out a team and know what it's like and kind of figure it out from there. Compared to a guy that has never played, like in the NHL and is just like coach, like that was his career as like a coach, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
did John Cooper ever play in the NHL? I don't think so, right?
No.
He's won at like all levels, but I don't think he played. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even think about that. Like all those rings on his fingers too. Next season, his hand's not gonna be able to fucking.
He's gonna look like Brady with the 6 rings.
It's got like the Thanos arm hand going. All right, let's move on here. I threw this in here just because, and mainly because all season
we called it.
We've been calling it left and right. I don't know who called it more, either me or you, but so the Anaheim Ducks are looking to shed John Gibson's contract as he wants to go to a contending team. And I saw this, and there was a massive fist bump by me. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. This dude needs to like get on like a better team and really show what he can do.
I also think a major market. Like I want John Gibson to be like the highlight reel guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just somewhere. Like I'm trying to think of a team that just like needs a goalie, you know.
Where do you think he should go?
A come up team? What's a come up team? What's who's going to be lacking next season?
Who isn't?
Oh, good fucking point. Oh. Let me think about that throughout this episode.
I'm going to say he needs to go to a Canadian team because there are really no good goaltenders in the Canadian market other than Hellebuck.
Toronto would destroy him.
It would, but I think that like he's proven him. Yeah, you're right. You're right, actually, because he probably doesn't want the spotlight of Canada. No. Yeah, and he really shouldn't go
Toronto media is going to be all over him. And he's like, no.
But I don't know. Like, he's proven himself in a market where no one gives a fuck about hockey. So, like, is that where he's going to end up going to next? Like, still stay in a small market? Like, if he wants to be on a contending team, I think, like, he should get that big spotlight on him, you know?
Yeah. What if Marc-Andre Fleury retires?
The Wild?
And then he goes to the Wild.
But Gustafsson's kind of the starter there that they're leaning into a little bit, right? Yeah. So I think he wants to go and be a starter, which is the hard part. I think he could be a very solid veteran backup for a nice young goaltender. Like, if he can go in and solidify Carter Hart on the Flyers and give him some, like, good pointers in a way, you know?
Yeah. But you want him on a contending team, not a team.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go to the Flyers.
No,
you know.
No, he'd rather stay with the Ducks at that point. God, where would you go? Where the fuck would you go?
Maybe you could replace. You think Varlamov might be done this season? He's getting up there in age. He could back up Sorokin.
Ooh.
The Gibson-Sorokin tandem would be pretty fucking good for next year.
Ooh. Who's the backup right now for the Rangers? It's I mean, it wouldn't matter because Shesterkin plays almost the entire season anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. Oh, it's a good question.
I feel like you should step up to the plate and go to Canada. Call it Toronto, call it Edmonton, call it Calgary. Like, pick your fucking Canadian team other than the Jets, and I think Gibson could fit in very nicely.
Interesting. Huh. But we know it's happening, which is the good news here. So I wonder where he's going to go. And he said he wants to go to a contending team, so even better news.
Yeah.
So hopefully it happens soon so we can just like...
Columbus Blue Jackets. Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau, John Gibson, Seth Jones. No, Seth Jones is on the Blackhawks now?
Yes.
Adam Werenski, right?
Adam Werenski.
Zach Werenski.
Ooh.
I was trying to think of the big defenseman there. They could be a contender
They
with
could
that.
be. They could be.
It'd be on him. Be a lot of weight on his shoulders.
He would love it though. He's so used to it now at the Anaheim Ducks.
With like a small market too.
Oh yeah. Fuck, now you got me thinking.
Sneaky.
Maybe I'll think about something toward the end of I'm just going to randomly blurt it out toward the end of the episode. I'm like, oh, I know where he's going to go. But we'll stay on the goalie talk, because we're going to be talking about him. Actually, should I just say this for later? Yeah, I'm going to say that for later on. So let's move on to the Florida Panthers here. So Carter Verhaeghe actually has 12 playoff goals with the franchise in his past 3 seasons, which is most in franchise history. And I thought that was interesting. So I'm trying to think now of like Florida Panthers like studs throughout the years, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting to me that Carter Verhaeghe 12 playoff goals combined in the past 3 seasons that he's been on the Florida Panthers is the most in franchise history. I'm like, that's
it's a young franchise. It came around in the 90s, I'd say.
Yeah.
Not a lot of playoff runs, you know. They had some pretty bad years down in Florida.
Yeah. Something to just look at. With
12 is a lot, don't you think?
12 is a fucking lot. It just means he's really doing his thing. It's a lot more than the top brass of the Toronto Maple Leafs had this series.
Right.
But that's something to think about because Florida Panthers are moving on here to the Carolina Hurricanes, and Carter Verhaeghe, if you're a betting man, might want to look at him for a bit.
Right.
So we got the picks done for the draft lottery this week, and the Chicago Blackhawks got the first overall pick and won the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. With the news, the Blackhawks sold $2.5 million worth of season ticket plans for next season in just an hour and a half. That includes 500 new season ticket holder plans as well as renewed. The top 10 draft picks awarded from the top 10 draft picks that were awarded from 1 to 10 were the Blackhawks, Ducks, Blue Jackets, Sharks, Canadians, Coyotes, Flyers, Capitals, Red Wings, and Blues. All 10 are teams looking for something decent in the draft here, so it'll be an interesting draft. And what's your thoughts on Connor Bedard going on the Chicago Blackhawks right now?
How about this one? Ready? Let's throw a curveball at these fans. You have an hour and a half, you buy $2.5 million worth of season tickets, and bam, the Blackhawks do not take Connor Bedard with the first overall pick. How about that? Just passing on him.
I still don't think he's gonna end up like a Shane Wright. I just can't see it.
I just don't think the first season is going to be like a game-breaking season, especially on the team like the Chicago Blackhawks.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be the workhorse there. He's going to have to do a lot of the weight pulling, you know, but he's not going to be able to perform to the levels of, you know, a Connor McDavid who had, you know, call it Jordan Eberle, Nugent Hopkins, Taylor Hall when he first came into the league, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the timing of that all lines up, but the Blackhawks have literally no one, and they're going to bring this guy in and obviously put him to work, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's great for the organization. It's obviously great for the pockets of the owners and everything like that. I think it's crazy that the Blackhawks got it after all the Kyle Beach scandal and things like that.
Yep.
What's your opinion on people saying that the draft was rigged?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh man, because has there been like any proof at all?
No, it's all just
gimmicks.
Like I think the Blackhawks had this is speculation. I don't remember the exact number, but a 12% chance to get the first overall pick. Well, I forget what the percent number was.
And they still got it. I don't know, man. I think it just is what it is. I can't see it being rigged. If
my thinking on it was, if it was rigged, they wouldn't have gotten it because the league should be punishing them for what they did.
Yeah.
But the reasoning for people saying it is rigged is because it's one of the largest hockey markets in the country,
mm-hmm.
and they want their team to be good again eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I personally don't think it's rigged. I think that's a dumb thing to say.
No, I think people are going with rigged because Connor Bedard's in it, and I think a lot of fans for like the
wanted him and like we're expecting him. Yeah.
And because they didn't get him, they're just like
It's
crying.
Rigged. It's bullshit.
But yeah, it's all bullshit. That's just my opinion. But I want to go back to what you said about what the Chicago Blackhawks could do. Now, this is a what's the word I'm trying to say? Like a golden opportunity for them too. You can really go either way with this. But if you're a team like the Chicago Blackhawks with the first overall pick, and that first overall pick is a future Wayne Gretzky, Connor Bedard, and you're literally from now the ground up rebuilding, could you possibly trade that first overall?
No, you will never do that. Sidney Crosby came in and single-handedly changed the Penguins organization. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy that you're going to bring in and pray that he can do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That is the hope. And a a pick in general that can come in and do that to your team is very rare, very few, very far between. This guy is supposed to be a generational talent, just like Crosby, McDavid, Gretzky.
Yep.
So for you to trade it away, there's no number in the world that makes it worth it. You know what I mean?
No.
And you have to take him. It's just he's head and shoulders above the rest of the class. He's going to the Blackhawks. It's nuts.
Good. I thought about that all week, and I'm just I'm trying to sit there and be like, what trade could possibly Chicago Blackhawks get that they're just we'll take this.
I guess the only thing I can come up with is proven commodity in their prime, McDavid, Draisaitl, and a first-round pick.
Yeah.
For Bedard. But, I don't know if I would even do that. You don't know what he's going to do for your organization.
Mm-hmm.
That's an over-the-top fucking offer. And the Oilers don't want to replace Connor with Connor and throw away Draisaitl in a first for it. No. That doesn't make sense.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
But that's probably the only thing I can come up with where it becomes an option. You know?
Right. So interesting. So Connor Bedard in a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. It's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, 500 new season ticket holders are gonna go see it. So that's good.
That's good. Looking good. All right. So the last bit of news before getting into the Stanley Cup playoffs here. The Montreal Canadiens, after his third season, Nick Suzuki was named captain of the franchise. He becomes the youngest captain in franchise history and second full-time captain of Asian heritage, which was Japanese, following Paul Kariya. Wow, big come up for Nick Suzuki here. I really like Nick Suzuki here for the Montreal Canadiens. Just a team that has not done well for the past 2 seasons, 2 or 3. 3 seasons ago they were pretty good, but the past 2 seasons have really shit the bed, mainly because of everyone just being out injured. But Nick Suzuki has really shown his colors the past 3 seasons with the organization, and I think he deserves this C.
Yeah, going back to what you mentioned about injuries, I didn't realize that even this year they were almost more injured than they were the year before. Starting the season off when Jonathan Drouin was out, there was a laundry list of 8 or 9 guys. They lost a lot of man games again this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they beat the Avalanche, who were 450 plus man games lost to injury.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to see Nick Suzuki get the captaincy, I think it's great for the team. It's great for the organization. He's young, he's professional, he's running the team well, and it is a bit of a risk when you make the young guy the captain, but 3 seasons in, you know a lot about a person's character, so I think it's great for him. Hats off to him, and it's going to be so much fun to watch this new young franchise grow. They're another one of those fringe teams that if they get in and get around in the playoffs, that experience is going to be so good for them, I think.
It's almost I want to go back to the Sidney Crosby talk you just had, because Sidney Crosby was the following captain after Mario Lemieux.
Mm-hmm.
So just another young guy that just after a few seasons got the C and really shown what he could do with the team and organization here, and good for Nick Suzuki here.
For sure.
Awesome to see for the Montreal Canadiens. And that's it. That's all we got for the news here, and we got a few. Should we start off with the ones that ended this week?
Yeah.
Let's start with the New Jersey Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes here.
Yeah, let's get to punishments real quick. I'll just cover that.
Oh, yeah.
We both picked Carolina to win in 6 games. They ended up winning in 5 games. So we are both in the clear on that one.
Nice.
Have you touched any of your past due
I'm done.
punishments.
I'm
You
done.
did them all?
I
All
did
right,
them
good
all,
man.
yeah.
Good man.
I didn't do them all in one day, but I just like spread them out.
Atta boy. Good stuff. I have to do all of mine still. Classic.
You just
But
gonna,
I only have 60 and 20. That's not all that bad.
it's gonna be a laundry list.
I'll bang it up.
No, you're good. So this week, actually, yesterday, a couple days ago, the Carolina Hurricanes knocked out the New Jersey Devils in overtime to take the series 4-1. And the following day was Akira Schmid's birthday, so
Enjoy that. See
enjoy
you at the
that.
driving range.
Happy birthday, buddy. But I don't take anything away from Akira Schmid. That game, especially going into overtime, he played really fucking well. I think Akira Schmid came in and just like was really good for the New Jersey Devils. So I don't take anything away from him. 4-1 series loss over the Carolina Hurricanes is kind of what you expect because the Carolina Hurricanes and Rod Brindamore are a goddamn stacked super troop patrol, whatever the hell you want to call them. And get ready for them to knock out the Florida Panthers this next
That's
next
what you're going
series.
with, huh?
Yep.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I am so on the fence on this one. The Florida Panthers are red hot. They won 7 of their last 8. We did the math earlier. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are a proven commodity, but is this the year that they go to the Stanley Cup Finals? That's the big question mark for me. A red-hot team like the Florida Panthers with a goaltender that's working very well for them, I don't know, because realistically, the Hurricanes beat the Devils this round. Who did they beat the round before? The Devils did not play as well as they should have this round. They kind of went in with the same approach that they did with the New York Rangers, and I don't think that they showed up and came to play. I believe the Carolina Hurricanes knocked out the Islanders last round.
I think so.
It sounds right, and I think that's also not a true test of your talent. They have a lot of injuries that they're working through, but I think when they see the Florida Panthers, it's going to be full tilt boogie, like looking at what the playoffs really are.
Yeah.
And they haven't, I would say, fully seen that yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just my opinion on it, but the Florida Panthers might show up and kick their teeth in. I think the home crowd
gonna ride
advantage
the
of
wave?
Carolina could be tough, though. What do you say?
They're gonna ride the wave right into it.
I don't know which way I'm leaning. I might just fade you and just take whoever you don't take. You said you want Carolina?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I might just take Florida because I think I'm that much of a 50-50 on this next series.
You're all right. The Carolina Hurricanes did beat the New York Islanders.
And that was a 5-game series?
It was a 5-game, I believe, series. Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
So I mean they haven't seen adversity yet this playoff is the other side of it.
Yeah.
This Florida Panthers team was down 3-1 and came back. They trounced the Maple Leafs, and now they're going to come in and play arguably a team that's slightly less good than Boston, but Boston didn't play well against them. They were injured. So it's kind of like a true new matchup, and I think we'll see how they feel each other out, I guess.
Interesting. Bobrovsky's going to shut the door because now we got Bobrovsky versus
He has
Freddie
been.
Anderson.
He has been shutting the door. I think maybe this series puts a question mark into the Carolina Hurricanes net of who do we play.
Whoa.
Like if Anderson starts playing like shit, if he maybe gets hurt, it's like when does Ranta go in?
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that.
I think the Florida Panthers are now officially going to live and die with Bobrovsky
Oh, yeah.
for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I don't think they're putting Lyon in other than like
No.
we're down 5-0. Let's get Bob out.
Yeah,
you
let's give him a break.
I think Bobrovsky is their ride or die right now, and I think the Carolina Hurricanes could go either way.
That's saying a lot because especially this series, especially this, not this series just especially, but this just the playoffs, we've been seeing just goalie tandems just change altogether. Like, for some reason, how the hell did Akira Schmid get into net? Went from Alex Lyon to Sergei Bobrovsky. Like, I'm drawing a blank now. I had a bunch of goalies in my head. Joseph Wall for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm like,
For sure.
I mean, just like it's just you're not. There's no starting goalie anymore. It's just like you start your starter. You start your starter throughout the whole
And you
season,
assess.
and he just shits the bed, and then you figure shit out. And now all of a sudden, your third string for some reason is your starter that's like standing on his head. It's just. It's been a wild playoff series. You just like you have no idea where you're gonna go. If you're a stat man and you're just like, yeah, Bobrovsky versus Freddie Anderson. Here's his stats. But then, like, now in this playoffs, like, you know, look at the stats for, like, your third string and, like, backup, too, because, like, wait a minute, the backup can probably put up better numbers than him, and maybe they'll win, maybe they'll go with him. It's just been a weird goalie situation in these playoffs. But, I don't know, it's made it really, really interesting, to say the least, because they'll put in, like, all of a sudden they'll have a hard time, they'll put in their backup, or they'll put in the third string, and, it's been a while. It's been a little too long. Billy, actually, you know what? I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause while he does that. So, for all of our listeners, Chris hasn't done this in a while now, but he used to just get up and, like, leave. But not so much while I'm... Actually, maybe, yeah. Maybe in the middle while I'm talking to him. And I just watched him just leave the room. I don't know where the hell he went. But I think Billy... who's our producer? We were just with him before we started recording here. I went to a bar with him, and Billy just randomly brought up the fact. Just brought up that Chris. He's like, before Chris used to just get up and leave the room. He hasn't done that in a while. And Billy, you know what? You jinxed it. You jinxed it, because now here I am just alone. I'm not used to it anymore, so it's just me talking to a camera and just watching myself and the TV right there. And I honestly kind of just want to keep talking just so I can get back to the conversation at hand with him, because I don't know where the hell he went. Here he is.
You're rolling. I kind of thought you could just keep going with that, but
we're good. We're good.
Just stopped everything you were saying and sat here.
I should have just stopped and just stared at the screen, just blank faced. But the goalie tandem, you just never know. But it's made it for a very just like incredibly interesting playoffs. I would say that at the very least here. So let's get down to the brass tax. There you go, with the Carolina Hurricanes and New Jersey Devils. Were you surprised at all that the Devils could not at least win 2-3 or make this series even closer than it was?
Yeah, I think my main point last round going into this one was, they faced adversity with the New York Rangers and were down 0-2 going into the first round, obviously. And they lost both those games 5-1. I believe when they went against the Carolina Hurricanes, they dropped definitely the first game 5-1. The second game was 6-1. So, and then they got to come back to home ice after that. They bounced back and won that game 8-4. But then to just fall back a 6-1 loss and then have a legit game and go to overtime in game 5 and lose, that's terrible. It was tough to see. I think goaltending definitely became their issue there, obviously. But just like people that were deadline acquisitions just not showing up in Timo Meier, which was like one of the biggest pickups of the offseason. Jesper Bratt kind of disappeared. And Andre Palat, I felt like wasn't really a factor.
Yep.
Jack Hughes really carried the weight on this team, I think. But, they just weren't putting the puck in the back of the net enough. 3 games out of the 5, they only scored 1 goal. So, yeah.
Not good.
I think they're just young. It's great that they did what they did, got where they were, and had the season that they had. I read you a stat earlier. They played 94 games this season between regular season and postseason. They weren't shut out once in the entire season.
Wild.
I thought that, that's fucking crazy. Yep. But, I just think they're young. It's good experience, and better luck next year.
Better luck. Here we go. All right, so let's move on here to the Florida Panthers versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. And tonight, that just ended for us in overtime. The Toronto Maple Leafs were giving them... So the Toronto Maple Leafs were home, and they were definitely fighting their asses off this game. But it's a little too late. Little too late kind of mentality as a fan watching it. And then you got the overtime winning goal by Nick Cousins, right? Block aside, which ended it. And here we go with the Florida Panthers moving on here. But I will say this game just in general too. The Toronto Maple Leafs looked really fucking good. They really did. I think they poured the shots on Sergei Bobrovsky, and the Florida Panthers defense really helped out. There were so many shot blocks and so many just like, what am I trying to say? Like they were just able to like ride the Toronto Maple Leafs players coming into the zone like against the board, so they can't really get any plays. But I mean, there was a couple plays where Mitch Marner had rockets on his skates at one point. I think I saw at one point like he was just like, he got the puck at like center ice and just carried, and I mean zoomed into like their offensive zone, and there were two Florida Panthers just like trying to catch up to him. Like, Jesus Christ, the speed on this dude. But you watching that, I'm like, where was this like the entire series? Like, how the fuck did you guys go down 3-0 in this series? Like with the talent that you're showing right now and all the shots you get on Bobrovsky, just like this, you guys should have had this. You guys should have had this done like the first game, second game, after like the first game jitters, but they couldn't get it done, and here we go with a quick second round exit for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I don't know where the hell to go with this team at all.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason. We'll cover that when we're done recapping. So game one, just so the listeners are all caught up, 4-2 win for the Panthers over the Maple Leafs. Every game other than that one in this series was a one-goal game, so they hung in there. They played well, I think. Their top line kind of disappeared. The Panthers won game 2, 3-2. They come down to Florida. They lose 3-2 in overtime, and they win 2-1 on in game 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then tonight was another 3-2 overtime winner for the Panthers. So 4-1. Top lines just kind of disappearing. William Nylander, I think, was the only player that was like a major factor for them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought.
Got the tying goal tonight, which was good.
Yeah, I thought Wall came in and played incredible for a guy
yeah.
that didn't really have any experience.
Mm-hmm.
Samsonov was well for them too. I thought like nothing, out of the ordinary. Like I said, all these games are very close, and I think this is probably the lowest scoring series we've seen in the entire playoffs, other than maybe Carolina and the Islanders, because I felt like the trap game there turns it into like 2-1, 3-2 finals every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to head down next, we can talk about the future of the Maple Leafs and where they're going, or we can spin it somewhere else.
Yeah, I want to talk about Joseph Wall for a second too, because that's also possibly future of the Maple Leafs right there. Joseph Wall just coming in. His career regular season stats was only 11 games played in the NHL with a 9-2 record, 2.38 GAA, .924 save percentage, and 1 shutout. So he looked good in the 11 games played, but in a career 11 games played in the NHL, and you're just like, I'm going to throw this guy in like a dire situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He did a hell of a job. I think Joseph Wall was really, like, Joseph Wall, Akira Schmid, I mean, like, these, Alex Lyon, these guys coming in just looking fantastic. And Joseph Wall is definitely up there in the spotlight with the Toronto Maple Leafs there.
My main issue with this fucking team is, guess what you got when you started the season and said, fuck off to this goalie that's playing as well as he is. Let me bring in the most injury-prone, rattled goalie in the league in Matt Murray and a rookie in Samsonov, and, like, that's going to get the job done for us. Like, why are you cutting corners in the most important position in the playoffs? Like, you basically, like, dug your own grave by doing that.
Yep,
it just
100%.
didn't make sense to me at all.
I'm with you on that.
It shot themselves in the foot, I do think, yes, if their star players put the puck in the back of the net more, they obviously would have won. That was definitely a bigger factor than their goaltending, because they squeezed every, ounce of juice they could out of what they had. But if you have, that stud goalie that's going to steal you an entire, like, 2-3 games, call it a series, like, that means so much more in the playoffs, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's what truly wins the cup.
No, you're dead on. And I was talking about this since we're talking about the playoffs even starting. We're talking about like Toronto Maple Leafs, and I literally said Matt Murray's out. Then you have Ilya Samsonov, and I'm like, Ilya Samsonov is not going to get the job done, and he didn't at all. Like, you needed Joseph Wall in, but this is after Ilya Samsonov got hurt. Now you have Matt Murray, who's just like still kind of injured, like as your backup to Joseph Wall, who's like third string and also only 11 games played. You're just like, Jesus Christ, like, what do you guys do? But again, you need your goaltending. And for some reason, Toronto Maple Leafs are just like, I don't get it. It's the same shit with the Edmonton Oilers, where just like, for some reason, you're all offense, some defense, and you're just like, whatever goalie's in there will just like do the trick.
They are
like,
built the same exact way.
Don't
Yeah.
fucking get it. I don't understand your mentality. I'm like, have you not watched these playoffs? Sergei Bobrovsky's really just coming in, shutting the door, and the Florida Panthers right now are just like an all-around, just like great built team. Like, you got goaltending, you got
the only outlier I'll say is like, why are they paying their goalie $10 million for a guy that's like every other season he's very good or very bad.
Right.
Like that's the only outlier. Like,
That's it.
I think they should pay a goalie 7 or 8 and prove that he's the starter that can get shit done.
Right.
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah. But you need your starter. You need your starting goaltender. And for some reason, those teams are just like, nah, we'll just run with whoever wants to come here.
Canada doesn't care about goaltending.
I just don't get it.
Canada is like a country.
And Canada won't see a Stanley Cup for years because of that. They won't.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now, let's jump to this real quick. The Golden Knights are on the verge of knocking out the Oilers now, which is the last Canadian team left in the Stanley Cup now that the Toronto Maple Leafs are out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one more Canadian team left.
Yep.
And they have to win 2 games in order to get on to the next round.
Yep.
That's crazy. I didn't think of that one yet.
Oilers, that's it, baby. I still think the Vegas Golden Knights are going to take that serious.
Let's make me some money, buddy. That's what we need.
That is so. The Vegas Golden Knights still being in the. I can't tell if we're lazy or I've been using it as an excuse, but it's
behind me. It's my fucking team. This is the way I look at it. Like, we're leaving this up until they get bounced.
We usually change the background. There's a jersey behind Chris that we always change, but since the playoffs, it's just been there. Like, we haven't changed it whatsoever. Yeah. So it's the good luck charm for the Vegas Golden Knights these playoffs.
I don't even think it pays out that much. Like, I literally put $20 down and I might win like $450, but like $20 is nothing. You know what I mean? I already lost 60. So
it'll get you something.
What do we want to get into? You want to dive into the Golden Knights series now?
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, like I mentioned, the Golden Knights are now up 3-2 in their series. They kicked it off with a 6-4 game 1 win, a 5-1 game 2 loss, and then a 5-1 game 3 win, and a 4-1 game 4 loss. So this series has been very back and forth, almost similar to the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils series, where it's like just the gap of who's winning and who's losing is so big.
Yep.
And then Game 5 was a 4-3 final for the Vegas Golden Knights. So they're up 3-2 in the series. They can close it out to Sunday if all goes to plan. But we'll see. We'll see what the Edmonton Oilers have to say about that.
Yep. It's kind of weird. Before this game, the past 3 games, it's either like you score a lot or you score 1. Like, so game 2 was Oilers won 5-1.
It's basically like if you can put 2 pucks in the back of the net, like, we got a chance of winning this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if it's only one, you're like sitting on the edge of your seat, like, come on, let's get another one here.
We got this. But yeah, I still think this is going to go down to exactly. Actually,
they're in Edmonton for Game 6, so that's what's got me concerned.
Yeah. And also, Laurent Brossoit is out injured, which means Aiden Hill is the third.
Dude, there's no way they win the cup with fucking
with Hill.
I don't know. It's just like, how is Jonathan Quick not in the net yet? Like, how? The guy has more cups than you have years in the NHL. Like, you're not gonna fucking put him in? You traded for him and got him from Columbus for what? A fucking bag of pucks? Like, you don't care?
They're just gonna ride him on the
bench? This organization is fucking crazy, dude. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Is that Bruce Cassidy doing his job?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't see Bruce Cassidy doing that. Like, it's just, I guess it's like, maybe it is. Maybe it's the old veteran mentality of like, hey, Aiden Hill's been here all season. He helped us get here. Like, Quick's kind of new. He didn't get us here. He doesn't know the systems like you guys do. I don't know.
And then it's going to get to the point where Hill's going to get lit up and he's like, all right, well, I'll put Jonathan Quick in. And then you realize, like, oh, I probably should have put him in a while ago.
The Golden Knights will be much better off if they can win this Game 6 and get some rest and hope that Brossoit's back for next round. They also want to hope that Dallas loses their game 6 and that series goes to 7, so they get a little more time off to hopefully rest up and get some health and, figure out their goaltending situation in that regard,
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm looking at the scratches right now for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a lot. I keep forgetting Phil Kessel. Pietrangelo, Phil Kessel. No, not much.
That's pretty heavy, though. Those are 2 big guys.
Those are 2 big guys. I wonder what the Oilers look like currently. Scratches. Oh, Darnell Nurse.
Nurse was suspended for a game.
Oh, yeah. This was the game. Yep, this was it. Okay, gotcha. And then he'll be back for the next game. Yeah, they're actually looking pretty good. Yeah, but this game, tonight's game, God damn. See, this is what I'm talking about with goaltending. He put Stuart Skinner in there, and then he gets lit up, and then they put in Jack Campbell. And Jack Campbell's like, what do you mean? Like, what? Just don't get it. I just don't get it. But I still think the goaltending situation right now at the Vegas Golden Knights might give them an upper hand, but I think the Vegas Golden Knights defensively and offensively might just overtake it and just get by Skinner as they have the past 2 games without Laurent Brossoit. So I think it's going to be an exit for the Edmonton Oilers. That's my guess. That's my guess-a-rooney right now. Who do I have? Vegas Golden Knights.
You do
right?
have Vegas, yeah, and I have Edmonton.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, Jack Eichel. How do you feel about Jack Eichel? Have you watched him at all in this playoffs? I think he's always kind of like. He's always there at like the right time for some reason in these playoffs with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been interesting watching him because you're just like, I feel like I just haven't heard from you much like this season. Maybe kind of like laying low, doing your thing. But as I watch Vegas Golden Knights, especially this series, I'm like, dude, Eichel's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't kept up with these West Coast series because of the time difference. Honestly, I think that's the big thing that's keeping me away. But I feel like, from what I can tell, Jack Eichel is like the Energizer Bunny out there. Like, he has, like, call it fucking 17 years of pent-up frustration of not making the fucking playoffs with the Sabres. And now he's finally there. So it's like he's going to give it 120% where he can, you know? Even if it doesn't end up showing up on the score sheet, on the stat sheet, like, he's like one of those guys that it's like, I need to drive the bus here. Like, I need to get this team going single-handedly to get this job done. So
100%.
I think it's awesome that they're at least gotten into the second round for him, and hopefully they can get into the conference finals as well.
Good for him. Yeah, I'm looking at his stats now for tonight's game. 1 goal, 2 assists on 4 shots on goal.
Hefty, dude.
Hefty, baby. Looking good. Loving it. What was that, Jack Eichel? Almost 20 minutes of ice time. That's really not that bad. See what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Jack Eichel, be on the lookout for him. I've been noticing him, like, just, you know how, like, a casual just like, oh, this Jack Eichel. And then, like, by, like, the 4th game, you're just like, damn, this guy's all over the place. And then you really start to pay attention to him.
You think 20 minutes isn't that bad, but, like, if you break that down, that's 7 minutes a period. So he's out there for almost half of a period. So that's kind of a long time to be giving it 110 in the entire game.
Yeah. So, yeah, be on the lookout for him. But, like, I'm trying to look at.
There's been a lot of goals scored in this series. This is probably the highest series of, like, goals scored for the entire playoffs because these 2 teams have just been able to rack it up a little bit, it seems.
I mean, we before we started recording, too, we were able to watch the first period before we started recording. And that first period, I mean, so we left the bar and we came here and what was that? Only like 5 minutes into the first, and it was already like 2-1 or something like that. Yep. And then when you're watching it, and like there are like 3 minutes of just watching it, and was Vegas even on the power play? I can't remember at all, but Oilers are just like all over the place. Like they didn't even know where the hell they were.
They were on the power play. Yeah, that's right.
And then like
there were high slot open chances.
Vegas,
like
exactly.
Just kind of bobbled the puck.
Like I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like it just seems so bad. But
didn't seem like a good hockey game in that regard, you know?
No, not at all. It was just all out, do whatever the fuck you want type of hockey game.
But I'm ready to wrap that one up. I think Vegas is going to come away with it, I hope.
Yeah, that's my thought. And we got one more game left in the tank, and that is the Dallas Stars versus Seattle Kraken. And I have been a huge fan of this series. But I know you're not. You ever watching the West? Have you been watching the highlights at all?
Yeah. I
At
have
least?
been watching a little bit of this one. Joe Pavelski, man, just fucking
Oh.
unbelievable. Like, so sick to see him back in the lineup after that concussion. The Seattle Kraken in general, just like coming at the team in waves.
Yeah.
Jake Ottinger playing out of his nuts. Like, it's a really cool series, honestly.
It really is. Yeah, Philip Grubauer, Jake Ottinger. Like, this is the one series that just like the goaltending's incredible, the offense is incredible, the defense is incredible. It's just like it's really just like head on
Two
head.
very well-rounded
Teams going at each other, and I've been absolutely loving it. And like the scores aren't even too crazy either. As I say that,
I'll run through them real quick. Game 1, the Kraken won in overtime 5-4.
Yep.
Game 2, the Stars won 4-2. Game 3, the Kraken won 7-2. Game 4, the Stars win 6-3. And game did I miss one? Yeah, game 5, 5-2 win for the Stars. And game 6 will be Saturday, so all you listeners will know the results of that.
But as of recording, the Dallas Stars are up 3-2 in this series. So, I mean, I've been really
I think the
this.
Kraken have like arguably one of the best home ice options in the league. Like, the fans are rabid, it's loud, it's heavy in there. Like, I think they do have a decent home ice advantage, so they might be able to tie this up. We both have Seattle pulling this one out. I have them in 6, and you have them in 7. So we'll see.
We can get that 7, baby.
I'm happy with a lot of these series. Like, other than the Golden Knights, where I really have like some financial well-being in the mix, I could really go either way on who won any of these series.
Yeah, no, you're dead on. You're exactly like I don't.
The first round I didn't feel that way, but the second round I totally did. I was like, I'm fine with any of these teams moving on.
Yeah, not in like a bad way either. Just like
they're all good and deserve it.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly, dead on. Both teams just deserve to go on, and whoever loses, it's just unfortunate. But it's just like one of the teams has to, has to advance.
It's also crazy to see how many, like you mentioned before, just to double back on it, goaltending changes there have been due to injuries, pulling guys, bad performance, anything, you name it. Like, this could be arguably, I would think, one of the, highest number of like new starters in net. Maybe I wouldn't call them that, but I guess like just goaltending changes.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. It just seems like it's every series. There's one of the two teams is making a change.
Huh. I wonder if I can find a stat for that. If so, I'll put it down on the thing below for everyone.
But like both goalies played for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. Both goalies played for the Golden Knights. Both goalies played for the Oilers. Yep. So that's 2 full series right there. The Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars. I would assume that it was really just Grubauer and Ottinger.
Yep.
They may have been pulled here and there, but I won't count those.
No.
The Devils and Hurricanes. I don't know if the Hurricanes had both guys played. Definitely Anderson. I don't know about Ranta.
Anderson came in from being out injured.
Yep.
So
that whole series, same thing.
Kind of changed around. Yep.
And then that's it. So 3 of the 4 series, every team had both their goaltenders play.
Yeah.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah.
I mean, Lion didn't play this round for the Panthers,
but he did.
Every team had both of their goalies play in the postseason, other than the Kraken and the Stars.
Interesting. Huh.
So that's nuts. I mean, maybe that's what makes them the Stanley Cup champions at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That they have their guy and it's working for them.
Yep. Like
I don't know.
Their 1A, 1B tandem is working in this regard. Interesting. But by the time this drops, again, I think I'll do the same thing as I did last time.
We'll be on to round 3 by the time this drops. Maybe we throw in our pick for that first series right now. Because we know it's set to be Carolina versus Florida.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
We can chuck that one in because we'll have that. But we won't know about the other 2 series that need to be figured out until the earliest would be Sunday, which is the day before we drop. So, Carolina and Florida, Matt.
I got Carolina. That's going 6.
All right. Carolina in 6, and I will be taking Florida. They went 7 games.
Yeah.
They went 5 games. So I'll do 6. Nice and easy.
6, Florida and 6.
I picked all the series last round to go 6, so none of them went 6.
As you all know, I am an underdog guy, so I could be watching the Carolina Hurricanes and all of a sudden be like, you know what, Florida Panthers, baby, kind of. That'd be a story. That'd be such a fucking story to tell right there. Florida Panthers organization to come down from where they were at the Boston Bruins and then get to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, to take down the Bruins, the best team in the regular season.
Fly
to
through
take down
Maple
the
Leafs.
Toronto Maple Leafs, which I don't really have a storyline for that one, really. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the former Rocket Richard winner in Austin Matthews.
Mhm.
To take down the Carolina Hurricanes, division winners, a proven playoff nuisance is the
Right.
word I'll use.
Like, if the Boston Bruins weren't that good this season, would be like one of the highlighted top teams in the league.
They're another
throughout the
8
regular
seed
season.
too. Like the St. Louis Blues, were they an 8 seed when they won? I know they were low, but I don't remember if they were 8. I know the Kings were
They
an
were
8 seed
low.
when they won the cup.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about like when the last time an 8 seed won the
Season
cup.
1. Yeah.
It's becoming more and more of an option now, though.
Common. Yeah. You can do it.
Yeah, it's possible. So yeah, that's what we got for now.
So
We'll check in next week, I guess.
So it's either gonna be. Let's see if we can make some.
No, we can't. They're both series are up 3-2. We can't really figure out what's going to happen out west. So
Yeah, you're right.
all 4 teams are still in the mix.
Mm-hmm. Say if Vegas does take the next game, so that means Vegas moves up, and Dallas takes the next game. That means Dallas. So Vegas versus Dallas, maybe. But yeah, again, we can't do it. So
Yeah.
Here we are, just twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah.
We're getting real close to the end here.
Yeah. The worst part is too, we don't have any nips.
Yeah, I thought about that as we were getting ready to finish up here. So this might be the first episode with no nips.
I'll take a look and see what I can finagle here real quick.
No, I know what you have in there.
Yeah, I think we'll do it.
No,
I think we'll do it.
it's too cold.
It's not too cold.
No, we're supposed to take them out like an hour ago and let them. I know exactly what you're doing, you sick bastard. Oh, I see it. Oh. It's not that I hate them. It's just that when they're really cold, I have sensitive teeth, and it's very painful.
You want to do a shot of tequila?
No, I'll do that. I hate tequila. If anyone knows me, tequila and me just don't mix at all. Not good. I'll never do tequila ever again. Rough night in Boston, downtown Boston. Where the hell was I? Oh, Bell and Hand Tavern. I'll always remember this night because I woke up the next morning and realized I spent over $400 that night. And I was like, well, not going downtown Boston anymore to drink. I could just save a shit ton of money and just stay home. But at one point, someone were just passing around shots, and when you're drunk, you just take them. And I took it, just grossed out of my goddamn mind. And I was like, what is this? And they said, tequila. Oh, man. I'll take the blue.
Now, you said you spent $400 at the Bell and Hand Tavern.
Not just the Bell and Hand Tavern.
Oh, okay. That's insane.
We thought I told this story before.
Probably. You don't have to retell it then.
No. Me, my cousin, when he was in the Marines, he came back for Christmas. So it was me, him, my cousin Matt, my brother, and we just bar hopped all around. We met at Bell and Hand Tavern, kind of bar hopped all around, just hammered. And then I woke up the next morning, I'm like, oh, God. And I checked my account. It was like $400 spent.
Woof.
And you know how, you get you know how you're drunk and you're just, money doesn't matter, so you're just, being really kind and, you're tipping your server just, way too much? Yeah, that was me.
Attaboy.
Yep.
All right.
I'm a nice guy.
Well,
oh, God.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers, buddy. This is going to be awful.
Cold.
Yeah. I can't do it.
I think we're just going to enjoy it. Slowly. I don't
Just
think we're
slowly.
going to, shoot this.
Yeah.
It is very cold.
Oh, God. It's not. This was such
Oh, my
a
God.
bad-
It's so cold.
This is such a bad move. Look,
Oh,
I can't.
I don't even have sensitive teeth. That's so cold.
I told you we shouldn't do it. Call it out. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I like it.
Oh.
It's just too cold.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know how you're doing it.
I'm suffering for the fans. Thanks, everyone, for
Okay.
listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description. Thank you again to Corona Premier for being a sponsor of the podcast. 2.6 grams of carbs, 90 calories. Pick it up at your local liquor store, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.